Welcome to today's update, where we bring you the latest news from around the world. From the release of hostages in Gaza to significant shifts in U.S. foreign and domestic policies, we've got a lot to cover. Let's dive right in. Hamas has released 3 Israeli hostages today in a significant exchange involving Israel's release of 369 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. The handover took place in Khan Yunis, Gaza, where Israeli hostages Ir Horn, Sagui Dekelchen, and Sasha Trufanov were seen surrounded by Hamas militants before being transferred back to Israel. Shortly after, buses carrying Palestinian prisoners were seen departing Israel's Ofer jail in the occupied West Bank, arriving to enthusiastic crowds waving Palestinian flags. Among the released Palestinians were individuals convicted of participating in suicide bombings and attacks that killed dozens of Israelis. Some of the released prisoners will return to their homes, while others, like Hassan Ewis, are expected to be deported to Egypt. In the midst of ongoing tensions, the second phase of a fragile ceasefire is underway, intended to facilitate negotiations to bring the remaining hostages home and eventually lead to a military withdrawal from Gaza and reconstruction efforts. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu thanked former U.S. President Donald Trump for his pressure on Hamas, which he credited with securing the release of the hostages. In a separate development, Argentina has seen a significant improvement in its economic outlook. January's inflation rate dropped to 2.2%, the lowest since mid-2020, following a year of economic reforms under President Javier Milei. Although inflation remains high at 84.5% annually, the drop signals progress under Milei's austerity measures and efforts to strike a new agreement with the International Monetary Fund. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump has renewed his criticism of California's troubled high-speed rail project, calling it the worst managed project I think I've ever seen. Despite his opposition, construction continues with 171 miles of track development in the Central Valley. The California High-Speed Rail Authority disputes claims that the project is over budget, insisting that expenditures have generated over $22 billion in economic impact. Turning to health matters, the Louisiana Department of Health announced it will no longer promote mass vaccinations, citing a need to rebuild public trust after perceived missteps during the COVID-19 pandemic. This shift in policy comes amid the confirmation of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as Health and Human Services Secretary, a vocal critic of vaccine mandates. In corporate news, Google has removed references to Black History Month, Women's History Month, and other observances from its calendar, a move that has sparked backlash from users. The company cited the need for a more scalable and sustainable approach to cultural moments, focusing solely on public holidays and national observances. On the environmental front, Kentucky is grappling with deadly flooding caused by heavy rains. Governor Andy Beshear confirmed at least 8 deaths, with over 1,000 people rescued from floodwaters. FEMA is on the ground assisting with relief efforts as flood warnings continue in multiple states. The U.S. State Department has also updated its stance on Taiwan, removing the phrase, "We do not support Taiwan independence" from its website, which has been praised by Taiwan's government as a step toward greater international recognition. The U.S. continues to uphold its One China policy while supporting Taiwan's participation in international organizations. Finally, former President Trump is seeking to impose tariffs on the semiconductor industry, a move that could have significant implications for the technology sector, particularly in artificial intelligence development. Trump has made it clear that U.S.-based chip production is a priority, but experts warn that his approach could increase costs for consumers and hinder the nation's technological competitiveness. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.